live? Alright. Come it's blank. Alright. Finally I'm live. Here we go. Private? Why is it private? Alright. See, we got somebody in here. Alright. There's been a lot of news today, and I just wanted to talk about it. The first thing I saw was that I woke up this morning and the Chris Paul page. The Chris Paul trade had taken a lot of, had started to really pick up. Let me move over. No, this way. Alright. The Chris Paul trade had really taken a lot of. It had come to fruition. Alright. A lot of people have been talking about Chris Paul moving. I kind of want him to go to Milwaukee. I don't know what the Bucks are going to do at this point. Giannis is probably going to leave. I don't know. It's not looking good. They haven't been able to get him anybody. I mean, maybe Aaron Gordon, but at this point, it's not looking too good for Milwaukee's chances to keep Giannis. But yeah, I think Chris Paul to the Suns is very, very good. Um, Chris Paul is a elite playmaker, and he'll help out D Book quite a bit. Booker's needed help for a while. Rubio did some, but he didn't really give the team the scoring that CP3 can give them. And down the stretch in the floor, CP3 is going to be great for them. But the CP3 trade wasn't. It's a good trade, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the biggest trade possibility that came out today. It's rumored that James Harden wants to go to the Nets. I think this is a blockbuster trade. I think it will be good. I mean, Houston needs to blow it up anyway. They've really just I don't know. They squandered any chance by trading Capella, and then they went all in on that small ball, just useless type of game. I don't see how that game will ever. That game's never gonna win. That type of game, small ball's never gonna win. They shouldn't have got rid of Capella, but the they need to um, get Harden to the Nets. I think it's good. A lot of people say you don't want a super team, but it's inevitably going to happen one place or another. And for Durant and Harden to play together again would be great to see. It didn't work out with Westbrook, but Westbrook and Harden were just both needed to take up the ball all the time. With Kyrie there, and Kyrie can be a playmaker, it will help him out tremendously because he'll have somebody who can pass, somebody who can shoot, somebody that can do everything. And Durant can do the same thing too. Kyrie's just hopefully Kyrie can get into that role where he'll be the backup guy, the Robin to Durant or Harden's Batman. I assume it'll be Durant. Durant will be the best man on that team, but Harden's nothing to slouch at either. That'll be a very dominant team if it goes through. This is all rumors at this point, so we'll have to see what happens. But I think that'll be good. Um, if anybody here is a LeBron fan, and you're mad that they're building a super team, just remember that LeBron started it when he went to Miami, so can't get too mad, I guess. Um, but yeah, LeBron. I mean, not LeBron. The Nets also got one of Detroit's young pieces. I'm not very happy at that at all. With that at all, I'm wearing a hat. I'm wearing the Ben Wallace jersey. Um, hey, Mark. Um, uh, but yeah, they traded away Bruce Brown today. I wasn't very happy about it because Bruce Brown's um, a very good. Bruce Brown was a very good defender, and he was like better than Stanley Johnson because he had the offense, and um, he was just a good young piece that I think they squandered away by trading him for a second rounder and some guy who's been known to brick open shots. I don't really see the point of that. Um, Even if you're trying to tank, I don't think Bruce Brown would have been enough for a tank. I don't really see why they did that. I'm very touchy with this new GM. We'll have to see what he does in the draft, but if he drafts some guy like Cole Anthony, who is a good player, don't get me wrong, but he has a torn meniscus already, and meniscus is not something you can come back from if you tear it more and more. Eventually, he is going to blow out his knee, most likely, and there's nothing medically that they can do for that at this current point. Um, if I was any team in the draft, I'd be very wary to pick him up. If I if Yeah, if anybody picks him up, they're gonna want to be win now. So he's probably best to go 15 or lower to one of the teams that's already contending, because I give him about 5 years in the league. I don't see much more than five, maybe seven. I give him kind of the Brandon Roy timeline. Brandon Roy, another great player, meniscus, done. He couldn't play when he tore the meniscus. That was it, and then the team is high and dry. So um, it's not really a thing I want to see Detroit do. Detroit's not building for the now; they're building for the later. Um, so yeah, that's another thing. That trade just I really hope they don't screw up the draft. That's all I got to say. We got something building with Diumboya, and hopefully we can re-sign Christian Wood. This is a big year for Detroit in the rebuilding phase. Even though we're trying not to sign a ton of players to big contract, Wood has to get paid for Detroit. Free agency opens up Friday, so we'll have to see who goes where that way wise. I really hope Wood stays with Detroit. He's electric. I like Wood a lot. He's like kind of like a Sean Kemp. I like Sean Kemp a lot. Back in the day, I wasn't born back then, but when I look back, I like Sean Kemp a lot. He was just a high flyer, kind of like Blake Griffin, but skinny and just lengthy. And Christian Wood can basically catch the ball off anywhere. Um, so yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Changing the title real quick. Anybody in the comments got any thoughts? Feel free to comment. See Mark's in here. Beat me in a 1v1 any day. I'd like to see it, but we'll see. Maybe one day we can do that. But yeah, just big things happening on the NBA. I'm gonna check my phone real quick just to be sure. And okay, yeah, I see that. Yeah, the Hawks. I just saw that the Hawks are becoming very active. They're thinking about possibly trading that sixth pick. I think Boston's gonna make a play on it for Okongwu. Okongwu is a very good player. I was trying to get a video out between Kongwu and Wiseman, which one was better. I had recorded it, but unfortunately this week I had to do a 3,500 word paper, and I didn't have time to do that. And I won't have time. I have to focus on. I want to get more things for the draft ready so it can be good. I will be live on Wednesday for the draft. Hopefully, anybody who sees this comes back. So yeah, but the Hawks, there's a lot of moves that they can make. They need to get better. They need to be in playoff contention this year. The time for tanking is over. It's time for them to grow up. Trae Young's got to get better defense, or possibly, as we've seen, there's Drew Holiday's in the works. Drew Holiday's open. The Pelicans are looking towards the long term, and not a guy who's going to be with them for 4 or 5 years. They're looking 9, 10 down the road, trying to win a championship, and Holiday's just going to keep aging, so they're going to get rid of him for probably a good second rounder, maybe future first rounder, and decent person to pick up contract. But Yeah, Drew Holiday would be a good pickup because Trae Young, just like Steph Curry, is pretty bad at defense. Trae Young is smaller than Steph Curry, so it's easier for even Trae Young to get blown by, um, just like Steph did, and that's why Steph needed Clay, and that's why Trae needs a guy like Drew Holiday to help him. Oladipo is also a possibility, but as I've talked about on the podcast, if you've been able to listen, I think on the fourth one is when Oladipo had all the bad blood going at him. Um, but his trade value is gonna be pretty low because of he's just trashed his name by different things that have come out, and he's not the same player he was in 2017. He was way better in 2017 and has yet since the injury to come back from it. For me, he's not even max money guy anymore. He needs to show himself again, and I doubt he ever will. I think it's unfortunate, but I think the injury really took the bounce out of his step. And also, he's inconsistent now. He has yet to put up the same numbers. So, yeah, that will hinder him in the future. Um, I'm going to look at my phone just real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. There's been a lot of stuff popping off today. Um, oh, yeah. The Thunder, though they traded away Chris Paul, they got Rubio and um, who they get? Rubio and they got Kelly Oubre and Jalen LeCure with it. Jalen Jalen LeCure won't be as big of a he won't be as big of a piece right now, but he could be possibly in the future. In high school, he was fairly good, and he just kept getting better. He was playing decent in the G League for the Suns, but they had yet to bring him up, but for like one game, and I think it was like garbage time anyway. So they're gonna need to get him in their G League program down there. But the main piece of that I see is Kelly Oubre. I think Kelly Oubre could be a good pairing with Lou Dort, who has turned out to be a decent scorer and a very good defender. Um, so yeah, I think Oubre is gonna be good for them. I like Oubre a lot. He's a good slasher. He gets some highlight reel dunks every once in a while, and Rubio will be um, a decent replacement for Chris Paul. You've got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who's looking like he's going to be one of the top guards in the league, and maybe next year he'll take the leap with this long overdue weight. Should have been in the gym a lot, so we'll have to see what he does. They still got Adams, and trying to think who they got at the four. They're going to lose Gallinari. Gallinari is interesting. 1 second, let me get that. Alright, that was weird. Okay, back to it. Alright, but yeah, Gallinari is an interesting piece. He's never been really a guy that you can trust to like take you over the top, but he's a really good extra piece for a team. Like the Heat are in talks to get him. The Heat could sign him. I like that to Miami. Miami needs more. Just they need scorers who are consistent. Hero and Duncan Robinson when on are very good, but when they fall off, it's just not very good. And Duncan Robinson, every time he went off in the finals, they won. But when he didn't show up, like he would go from like 20 points to like 2 or 3, and that's just not gonna get it done. He's inconsistent. But with a guy like Gallinari, with that surge of scoring, would be really good for the team. So we'll have to see what if Gallinari goes there. That's what it'll be. But he could go to Dallas. Dallas would be another good spot for him. Um, they need more shooting. They need another shooter. They need either him or one of the Bogdanoviches. But Bogdanovich on the Kings is. I've heard he's up, but I don't know if he's on contract or not. So we'll have to see what they can do. Um, but they definitely need a shooter in Dallas to kind of take the heat off of Luka. They've got a lot of good defenders. They've got some. I mean, Porzingis could stretch out and shoot, and yeah, Luka can definitely do that. But we'll have to see. Um, they need another piece. I would like to see Giannis sign there next year, but that's a whole long story. I went over it in my video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Um, but yeah, I think the Thunder. Back on that track, I'm kind of going all over the place. So I'm sorry if you can't keep up. Uh, if you, it's hard to keep up. But the Thunder are they've got a lot of good pieces. I think they could have a chance, especially with now the eighth, ninth seed being a play-in. They can make a run at it. There's gonna be a lot of changing of the guards on some teams. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about Houston next year. I think they're gonna move on from Harden and Westbrook. Although if they get Dinwiddie, Levert, and Jared Allen, um, and depending on what they've still got on the roster, they could still make a push for that eighth seed. I don't know how Coach Steven Silas, their new coach, will be. He was a former Dallas Maverick assistant just last year. We'll have to see if he can. We'll have to see if he can coach them back into relevance. Not that they fell out, but I'm assured that they will. Losing a guy like Harden and Westbrook. This is yet still a hypothetical. Harden could not get traded, but I highly doubt that he's going to be on the roster come opening day. The 22nd, December 22nd is coming up, a little over a month away. Um, but yeah, I think the Rockets have got some pieces they can move. Westbrook is definitely up for grabs more than Harden was. I would like to see Westbrook go to the Clippers myself. I think it would be a good trade. Paul George really got on my nerves. I felt like the Clippers could have been a whole lot better team than they were. The Clips just they wasted my time. Honestly, I'm very irritated with that team. The Clippers should have done 10 times better. Lou Williams did not show up in the bubble. Montrezl Harrell didn't show up in the bubble. And those were I was expecting sometimes 40 points off the bench from them, and they were giving you like maybe 20 if you were lucky. Quit wasting my time. The Clippers really disappointed me. Um, yeah, but Kawhi needs somebody else with him. Um, he shouldn't have left Toronto. Looking back, but he did. Can't go back time. Can't go back in time and change what you've already done. But I think he should have stayed in Toronto. But with this Clippers roster he has, a guy like Westbrook would be good. It would give him consistent scoring because Westbrook can always get to the hoop. It's just when he was on the Rockets, they're forcing him to shoot too much, and that was not good for him. Um, but Westbrook and Covington for Paul George is a trade I saw. I like that trade a lot. It would give a lethal backcourt, not backcourt, well, dual guards with Covington and Kawhi, dual forwards that could just defend all over the board. It's hard to tell with the Clippers at this point because most of the roster is possibly up for grabs besides maybe Zubac and possibly Shaman. So we'll have to see what they do. Um, Westbrook could also go to New York. I've seen a New York trade. If he went to New York, they would get Randall and Knox in exchange for him. And I don't think that would be bad for the Rockets either because I liked Randall a lot. And Knox is untapped potential. I liked him in college, and then they didn't play him at all, which is rather confusing to me. So we'll have to see how they do. Um, but that's really. Let me check my phone real quick to make sure nothing big happened. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all the big news today. If you got anybody who's watching, I will be live on Wednesday as close to 8:30 as possible for the draft. So please come and check that out. I'm gonna be on 2 3 hours, and I'll try not to look at my phone before I get ready to come on. So I'll try to keep it a surprise and react on live stream on the stream. So Uh, that being said, I think that's it for today. I just kind of wanted to go over the news, and thanks everybody for coming out, and be back on Wednesday. Uh, Thank you for watching.